Coronation Street spoilers, Harry Visinoni reveals what comes next for Seb Franklin after his HIV diagnosis. Seb Franklin is about to get the shock of his life in Coronation Street when he is given the diagnosis of HIV. But while Seb initially is left devastated by this turn of events and thinks that his life is over, actor Harry Visinoni has explained that he will eventually see that it is not a death sentence and it will be something that he and Faye Windass will be able to cope with and live with. He added in our recent chat that it shouldn't ever be something that defines Seb's character, and when we spoke, it was clear how keen he was to tackle this story in the correct way and how lucky he feels to be at the center of more than one major Weatherfield storyline. Are you nervous about tackling a story like this? Yeah, initially I was. It was a surprise to get this storyline. Not only have I got the first story that centers around Seb alone, but the actual topic is a big thing to tackle. There are high stakes as it's important that we get it right. So were you excited to take it on? Yeah, I felt that it was a strong job to be given and I wanted to do it honestly and do proper justice to it. I've been glad to have been blessed with a really important story like this. Seb could have went either way as he started off as a wrong un. Are you pleased with the development and did you expect it? Yeah, I'm very pleased and I really didn't expect it. Seb has been totally fleshed out over this year. It's really nice and flattering that Seb's story has ended up where it's going now, as when he first came in, they could have just left him as he was. People are really rooting for him and Faye. The opinion has really swayed like a pendulum, hasn't it? Once everything is explained about his backstory, Seb gets a lot of sympathy nowadays. He and Faye battle through, and with the HIV story, they really have to stick together and work through it. It's nice because after the scenes where Abby took the overdose, Faye knew so much more about Seb and it added a whole new layer to their relationship, and their tough home lives is something they can both relate to, as Faye had a difficult past too. It's all developing really nicely and it's come together so nicely. Through all of this, Faye and Seb develop a deeper connection. So it could actually make them stronger? Definitely, because they have to try and battle on through it. There is no reason why HIV should get in the way of their relationship. HIV charities are keen to show that a diagnosis of HIV doesn't ruin someone's life. Is that the approach Corey will take with this? Certainly, yeah, Seb's young and has a diagnosis, and that all becomes a part of it. He has his whole life ahead of him, and the diagnosis of HIV won't end up defining his character. That's the message, really. It doesn't define anyone as a person. When he first gets the diagnosis, how does he initially cope? It's a big shock. Personally, before I had educated myself, I didn't know that you could survive HIV, let alone live with it healthily and have a healthy sex life. So I thought that if I didn't know this, then other people from my generation might not either and might have the same preconceptions that I had. Seb may well have had the same thing, so it's shock at first. He thinks when he first hears about it that's a death sentence. He then has to come to terms with it and learn that he can still live his life and not be defined by it, and this isn't the end of the line for him. And those around him will help him to do that. Will it change him and Faye at all? To be fair, I don't think it will in any drastic way. They do have to step up to a new level of maturity to get through it, and it's unlike anything that either of them have ever tackled in their lives, but as I said, it won't define them other than forcing them to have the maturity to cope with it. Both of them have been through so much too. What comes next with the Felon and Anna story as she is being framed for attacking Seb? Seb ends up locked in a tug-of-war between Anna and Felon, so it's a case of where do his loyalties lie and who can he trust? Seb has to battle with his conscience and work out who is lying and who has ulterior motives. There's so much going on in his head right now. There is so much drama going on in his life right now, and he is just caught in the middle. It must be good to be at the center of so many big storylines right now. Yeah, it's such a gift, really. It's crazy, really. A couple of years ago, I was in college desperately praying that I would one way get a few acting jobs. Now I have a part in Corey and in the middle of all of these storylines, and it's mad. I am so blessed as there are so many people who would be desperate to be in my position. I am very grateful for all of it, all of it.